How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome to what is going to more than likely be the final episode of Survival Guide Season 2. It has been an interesting one, that's for sure. A few things to recap. I don't think I really should have played Bleed. Obviously, it's a little bit meme and a little bit out there, but I think it did showcase quite a few things. It showcased physical damage builds, it showcased Speed Ranger, quite well in my opinion. And just how to farm and how to go about building a character from pretty much scratch. I like that I started from literally zero and did the episode 0 of building a character, because no one really does that. I mean, there's good reason. My theory crafting videos are one of the least watched videos on the channel, so people don't really want to sit through 40 minutes of me looking at a node and going, do I take 14% life or no? And I don't really blame them personally, but each to their own. So it was nice that I could kind of cover that sort of thing, and it was nice to finally showcase some Endgame, but it's kind of a little bit weird doing this series at Endgame for multiple reasons. One, for me, in regards to content creation, it's fucking boring. I'll be honest with you. I'm just sat here filling air for an hour. Like, don't get me wrong, I do that when I stream too, but I have someone to bounce ideas off of, or talk to, or talk about, and get a response from. I'm literally talking into whatever the fuck I'm looking at. It's like my camera, if there wasn't a camera, it's the wall. And it's kind of weird, really, because, yeah, I have things to teach, but once I go through all the masters, I talked about the Atlas stuff, and what it would really boil down to, if I just wanted to keep going, would be me filling air for hour-long episodes as I progress through map tiers. And I don't think I could make it to 16 and clear fucking Ultra Endgame boss. Not that it's gonna matter, because they're gonna leave the game anyways in 7 days in my current scenario. So it doesn't really make much of a fucking difference. But, either way, I lost my train of thought. Well, fucking, it just left the station, genuinely. But yeah, I mean, all in all, in regards to doing Endgame for this sort of series or style of series, it's a bit weird, really. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about it if I do a Season 3 or anything like that. I mean, Season 3, I'm going to have spells and stuff to talk about, and probably go down that sort of route. Spells or totems or something, who knows. As well as Energy Shield, so I'll have stuff to teach in that regard. And maybe I wait until PoE 4.0. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. I'm not really sure. But it's definitely a bit of an odd one to go about recording and all that sort of stuff. But it does seem like it's had a pretty good impact on you guys, and you've had a rather good time with it. So I'm glad I'm able to help you guys learn Path of Exile and learn different sort of archetypes and playstyles and that sort of stuff. I appreciate all of you fellas. You guys are the best. So, with that being said, what are we going to do for the final episode? How are we going to send ourselves off? Well, we are going to do something I haven't showcased yet, which is my favorite thing in Path of Exile. Today, we're going to be doing Delve. Yeah. We're going to be doing a few maps to start to warm up a little bit. I just recorded like a 20-30 minute video, and like my thoughts are kind of all over the place because it's 3 a.m. and my sleep schedule's fucked, and I'm just getting coffee in me, and you know, everything's like at the fucking window. So I still have to pull myself together pretty much, but we're getting there slowly. So we're going to do a couple of maps to kind of get situated and to farm some sulfite, or some excess sulfite. And then we are going to do my favorite piece of content for, I don't know, we'll see how the time goes, maybe 15 minutes, half an hour. And we'll probably end her off on that note, because I covered, you know, everything in regards to gear, and it's been like 3-4 days, if not more, since I opened this character, so I do not remember where the fuck I left off on gear, so I'm not even gonna really touch anything. I know my gloves are trash, but other than that, don't really remember. So yeah, I think we're just going to pop in the maps that I had. I don't know if I have any currency left, and I am a poor boy right now, so we're gonna be chance orbing. Cannot regenerate a life, mana, or energy shield. Well, don't know if that's really gonna be an issue. Well, actually, it will be, because I don't really know if I have much leech in this build right now. Can I check that? Is leech not? I could have swore it's Base maximum life leech. Oh, it's God, fuck this fucking system. I'm so glad that this is getting overhauled in 4.0 or whenever the hell it comes around. Well, if I die, I'll put in a different one. But what we need to do is go over to Nico, check my atlas. I do actually have Nico challenges for yellow tier, which is great, and we're gonna throw that in. And long story short, the Nico mission is click on the thing. That's it. That was the entirety of Delve League. And that was actually fine because what we got made up for the boringness of the mechanic, which also means that there's a lot of people who make characters that literally get to tier 16 and don't even clear the map. They put in Nico on tier 16 that rolls as much quantity as possible and just literally run through the map, grab the stuff, grab these nodes here, and then fuck off, and that's pretty much it. They switch back to their other character, and they go and do their delve, because delve, or sulfite in general, really, I literally have had my game open for over an hour, and we're still gonna be laggy as fuck? Alright, sure. Each to their own, I suppose. Sulfite is now account-wide, which, this actually drives me crazy, by the way. Like, I've had PoE open for over an hour and a half to 2 hours, and this pile of shit still plays like a PS2 game. I don't get it, man. Like, I feel like I booted Crysis 3, and I don't even own that game. But, okay, as I was saying, my fucking brain is fried right now, hang on. Sulfite, the currency that is acquired by Nico to go about running the content that I enjoy doing, is character bound now. It used to be account bound, which was a rather not account bound, character bound. It now is account bound. It used to be character bound, which was a massive pain in the ass. But what basically happens now is you can make a character built around speed farming delve content. You put the character into a map, they go into tier 16, they don't kill anything, they just speed through it, grab the nodes, and then fuck off. If you're playing in Trade League, there's something called delve rotations, or sulfite rotations, which are essentially groups of people who enjoy doing the same type of content, and it's the only content they really want to do. It's one of the main reasons I'm sad I don't play Trade League that often, because it would open up more possibilities for me to do just delves. And what they do is they have one person go into the map with their modifier, since it splits it across the entire team. You do get more in general, but it splits it across everyone. So if you put in a tier 16 solo, say you get 10k sulfite. If you put in a tier 16 in a group, say you get like 50k, but that's split across like the whole team, right? So then you get 8k, but 5 other people also get 8k, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact math, but just a quick little example for you. So people do that pretty often, and if you can find a team that does that sort of thing, you're in for a pretty good scenario, because you can get a lot of extra delve currency. You can also buy something called a scarab. My game's also fucking lagging, because why wouldn't it be? That you can put into the map device that is going to guaranteed spawn the master we're looking for, which was Nico for the thing that we clicked earlier. And that'll give you the thing that gives you the currency you use for delving. It's kind of a weird scenario, but essentially it's find as many ways as possible to click the thing, get the resource, and then go and delve. Now, you're probably wondering what delve is and why I like it so much and why people care about it so much. Essentially, it's an infinite endgame. Now, that is something that I just really like. Now, there's also another aspect to it for me, which is I really enjoy like roguelike style games where, you know, you die and that's all you got, right? You put everything you got into the run, everything's randomized, itemization's randomized, and that sort of stuff. And Path of Exile is a sort of game that can do that system very, very well. They have never done it, I don't think they ever will, but the way they set up the skill tree, the way they've done the skill gem system and all that sort of stuff, they have the ability to do a style of game that's pretty much. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck the sound is in real life. I honestly don't know. But that is pretty much impossible to do and or recreate anywhere else, which is a style of roguelike action RPG, like top-down action RPG, which is basically unachievable from any modern source nowadays. But funnily enough, through Delve and through means I'm going to be doing in a series in the next league, you can actually do that sort of style of gameplay that I absolutely adore. And where I really fell in love with the system is in a series that I have on the channel called Coast to 100. Essentially what it involved was I took a character and I was only going to level it through the first zone as well as delves. Essentially, back in that league, the sulfite nodes would spawn in any region, just in general. You got it every region, every map, every time, all the time, which was great. Favorite league, hands down, had the most delve content in it, for obvious reasons. So what I was going to do was play that character and play it as a sort of like roguelike type scenario. I didn't get to choose my skill gem aside from the first one that I got, which meant that everything was essentially up to the game. The skill gem I got was up to the game. The gear I got was up to the game. Support gems I got was up to whatever the game dropped. And I still absolutely am in love with that idea and or system, but I've yet to really make it come to light, because what ended up happening, sadly, was after I reached, what was it, level 12, sulfite no longer spawned in the area that I was farming, which was a massive pain in the ass, because at that time, sulfite was character bound, right? So I couldn't make a tier 16 sulfite farmer and then just swap characters. The only way I could do that, for regards to like a series, would be to make a second account, get the second account to tier 16, or get tier 16 on mine, and then play the sulfite character on, or the leveling character on the other account, and start the encounters with the high level character, and then switch and like tab back, which obviously wasn't going to work very well for a YouTube series, right? Me tabbing back and forth or having to do massive amounts of editing to hide the fact I'm switching fucking clients over and over wasn't really going to end up panning out all that well. I mean, I could probably make it work, but sounds like more hassle than it would really be worth, right? So I didn't really fuck around with it that much, and the series kind of came to an end. But I've always been looking for a way to recreate that or get that sort of feeling, and it was only like 10, 12 episodes that I did on it, but it was the most fun I've ever had with Path of Exile, because it left everything up to randomization. It was basically a roguelike top-down action RPG, and I've tried to do that sort of style with other games. Like I tried playing a Torchlight 2 mod that was just endless dungeon. So you went in, and I made it so I went in and I just went on hardcore, hardest difficulty until I died. Don't get me wrong, it was good, but because of the way Path of Exile does its skill system, it's just how do I say this? Unreplicatable, I suppose. It has the roguelike skill system and roguelike weaponry system that most games have of, you change your attack and all this sort of stuff. It has that built in the best way possible for that style of game. But of course, it's action RPG in the action RPG genre, which always makes me sad that they don't realize that they've built a fantastic system that they can use for more than just action RPG. Like, they made a battle royale out of it and people fucking loved it. So experiment with the engine, with the systems and all that sort of stuff, because I found a version that I absolutely adore, but I can't really play it. I can't even really play it as the way I want to in the little cheat version that I'm going to do coming next league. Hopefully. We'll see how things go, because now that it's account shared, I can do the series again. But there's a problem. Because of course there fucking is. Is that the mine, the sulfite mine, no longer starts from level 1. It starts from level 34. Which now becomes an issue, right? With the whole sort of scenario that I absolutely adore, right? Which is, I want to have the whole game be randomized, and my whole build and stuff be randomized, and have to play off the land, I guess is the way to say it, and just see how it goes for the run. And that sort of thing really ain't possible when you have to be level 34 to start it, you know? And I have a way to do things that I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna explain just yet until I actually do the series. I don't want to, give away all my fucking ideas and secrets, because it's something I've wanted to do for a long, long time. I want to actually put it to work. But it's still not going to be the final version that I want to start with. I want to start from level 1, go on fucking hardcore even, and just go. But I can't really go on hardcore because I have to hit 30/35 before I can even start doing the series, right? Before I can even start the content. And the reason that it's so cool and something that I just adore is it infinitely goes down in depth, to depth like 10,000 or something like that, which eventually just hits a point where if you get hit by anything, you just die. Straight off. Like, by the time you hit like depth 1,000, I think like 1,000 to 2,000 is achievable by normal means. And anything past that, the modifiers just keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying to a point where you just get one shot and fall over. So the goal would be to both see how deep I can go, pun intended, as well as see if I can get to level 100 on the character. Because getting a character to level 100 in just Delve would be an incredible feat. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's more than doable. Even without sort of like restrictions on yourself. But at the same time, doing that sort of thing with the whole roguelike scenario, seeing how deep I can get a character to go, and seeing if I can get to level 100, it just sounds incredible and like a fantastic way to play to me, as an off way to kind of shake things up, right? So I've been looking forward to doing that for a long time, ever since I first started playing Delve content. And I never really got the ability to, but that idea has always been stuck in the back of my head as, one day I'll do that sort of thing. And that one day is going to come pretty soon, hopefully, provided, I don't burn out on Path of Exile and Next League goes pretty decently. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to, considering the sort of stuff that I've got planned, but we'll obviously see how things turn out. I can talk out of my ass for hours and hours and show no actual results, but that's, I think, why I have such a enjoyment or like a love/fixation for Delve, is that sort of style of game that I absolutely adore, that I've never really been able to get correctly. The whole like dungeon crawler genre of like, how far can you pick up a random build and just push it infinitely with itemization that can change everything, with PoE's crafting system and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's never been the ability to make the best roguelike, or like a roguelite, I guess is the word, known to man, because people haven't done this sort of thing. People don't do this sort of style. So unless I went about creating it myself, which would be a very time-consuming thing to do, but I mean, could be interesting and a learning experience. Who fucking knows? This is Path of Exile is like the only real place I'll ever be able to get that sort of style. So that sort of fixation on an end goal, I think, is definitely part of it for me. But other than that, it's just really fucking good content, as thought by most people. It's what should have replaced Endgame, but because GGG has a fixation system, or a fixation on their mapping system that they love so much, even though it's outdated, kind of trash, and confusing as fuck, personally, and for a lot of people who start playing PoE, they really were against the idea of Delve being like an infinite sort of endgame content, because it was really rewarding and all that sort of stuff. And everyone told them, literally there was mass posts on Reddit that says, if you have to turn down the rewards for me to just permanently delve, I don't give a fuck, like, turn the rewards down, and I'll just keep delving. Like, I don't really care about the rewards, I just actually enjoy the gameplay of infinitely being able to push my character. But you couldn't infinitely push your character in regards to like Delve and Delve League, because you had the currency to worry about, which is still a scenario right now, right? You still push delve for 3-4 hours and you've run out of currency and have to go sulfite rotation, which is still a massive pain in the ass for anyone doing that sort of thing. Trust me, I fucking know. When Delve League came around, I made a one of the best characters I'd made in a long time. I think it was an RF character. Stupid fucking tank. He killed pretty much everything with a 200 to 300k RF dot. Like, one of the most powerful characters I had made. And character did perfectly fine. I got to depth, I think it was 450, 500, something like that. And it started to cost me like a shit ton in sulfite per run, which was like, okay, I was fine with doing the sulfite and doing all that sort of stuff. I got to top 500 on the leaderboard at the time that I was playing, because top 100 was like 800 or something like that, because obviously we're talking solo self-found standards within the first like month or so. And when I was actually trying to push the leaderboard and whatnot, I got to around, I feel like it was even higher. I actually think I was in like top 250-ish, around there, which obviously isn't, top 10 or anything like that, but it's still pretty decent for, the kind of casual. I'm not really casual. I do have 1,500 hours and play for like 8 hours a day when I stream, but I've definitely gotten a lot more casual as time's gone on. But during that time, it was pretty fucking good for me, considering I have multiple like top 10s in Diablo 3. I have rank 6 on Barbarian, rank 15 on Wizard, that sort of stuff. Like, I play action RPGs a lot and they're pretty fucking good. I like doing leaderboard pushes and that sort of stuff. But the thing about Diablo 3 is that you can just keep going and going and going and going. And so long as you have the gear and you farm the keystones and whatnot, and you get the keystones while you get the gear, so you stock everything up just as time goes on, you're ready to just power push, right? And just fucking go. And that's how you get those sorts of things. You gear your character. As you gear, you get your keystones. And then you use your keystones to push and get your leaderboard spot. And you play really hard that day, and then by the next day, some Asian kid who farms all of his gear has overtaken you by 15 spots, and you're back down at the fucking bottom. But that's pretty much how it goes. You play day one for the screenshot, and then the Asian booster's taken you over already by the time you wake up. That's how Diablo 3 leaderboards kind of worked. But those screenshots I'm still pretty fucking proud of. Either way, in regards to the thing that I'm actually trying to talk about with the Delve leaderboard push that I was doing, that I actually had a fucking fantastic time with. Like, I loved that sort of style and playing for the Delve board, and like, it was my favorite thing at the time. Problem was that because you couldn't infinitely sit there and test your character, and everyone else had to do sulfite rotations as well, you never got to catch up. Because what happened was, you did, your 3 hours of pushing, and then you did your 3 hours of farming, then you did your 3 hours of pushing, then you did your 3 hours of farming. If you're doing it, the guy in the first place is doing it too, right? So what ends up happening is the whole leaderboard collectively moves up 50 depth level, and no one moves up a slot, right? Because everyone's gone and done the same thing. The guy on top's gone from 800 to 850, and I've gone from 400 to 450. The slots haven't fucking changed, because everyone else from 1 to 250 is doing the same thing and collectively going up 50 per day. So yeah, I was in like top 250 and for like 3-4 days. But at the same time, there was no really moving upwards. It was just, can I maintain the slot going at 50, 50, 50 a day until my character can't fucking like sustain the content anymore. And it got to a point where after a week of just doing it and getting to depth, I think I stopped at 500, which was at about 250 at the time, where I just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm fucking tired of this, right? Because there isn't a way to just infinitely push, and you have to just go back and do fucking rotations over and over and over again. And these rotations were boring as fuck, because at the time, it wasn't even optimized around doing tier 16 content. Yeah, I know I'm stood still, but it's the final episode. I'm gonna do the fucking long rant, right? You can enjoy the story. What is it? It wasn't even optimized around doing tier 16 content, because what I was talking about before with raritying the maps and the rarity affecting the sulfite you get, that didn't exist at the time. So the only way to get, well, it did, but it was tuned horribly wrong and didn't fucking work at all. The way that you were best optimized to get Sulfite was to make a Speed Ranger, a Queen of the Forest Speed Ranger, go on Quarry Act 9, grab all the Sulfite nodes, or no, grab the Sulfite node that spawned the closest to the waypoint, and then reset, grab it again, reset, grab it again, reset, grab it again, to the point that the servers were breaking because there was at least 30 quarry instances per player per character who was farming this. Because what you would do is, if you're really fucking lazy, is you would just keep resetting the waypoint until you got the guaranteed closest spawn, blink arrow to it, blink arrow back, reset, 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 blink arrow, pick it up, blink arrow, reset, reset, reset. And it fucking hampered the servers stupid hard because everyone was doing it. Because everyone loved Delve. Everyone loved the content. They just absolutely adored doing it. But they took that as, okay, so we're still gonna gate it. I don't get their fucking game design. I really don't. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's free to play. But also their free to play market's fucking hilariously fucking stupid. But still, the prices are way too goddamn high. But, oh fuck. My brain's running in like my brain's just a fucking squirrel in a wheel that keeps falling over. But I'm trying my best here. But that's basically how things ended up, because it wasn't how am I trying to say this? It wasn't account shared at the time, so the guy who was in first place at 850 was playing a Queen of the Forest Speed Ranger. So not only was he able to get that far in Delve, he was also able to outspeed me on the Sulfite rotations. And I was playing a Righteous Fire character that was slow as shit, but durable as fuck. I didn't die, right? So as a result, I could just, power chug along through 50 levels, or 50 depth levels, pretty much per day, without any real issue. But when it came to farming Sulfite, the character was absolute fucking trash, because he moved slow as shit. And as a result, I ended up just being like, okay, well, I can't really ever catch up because I can't catch up through the rotations. If they take off the requirement of Sulfite, then, we'll go for it again. And here we are with a Sulfite meter 5 patches later, something like that, but still. Okay, that was story time. Let's do some actual Delve content for you. So essentially, Nico, crazy fucker with a pickaxe. You'll meet him in Act 3 or Act 4? Act 4. Start of Act 4, you'll find him. You'll walk out after killing Vol into the mines, and you'll find Nico nodes. And then you will unlock the mine encampment and the Voltaxic generator, and I'll have you go into the mine here and do some fancy stuff for him. Long story short, the Voltaxic generator is where you get all of your upgrades regarding things. So we're going to start off with crafting some flares and some dynamite. These are thrown by specific keybinds, and flares will light things up, and dynamite will explode walls. So we're going to craft that again. And to cover all of this, Azurite is a currency you get from doing Delve nodes. So if you look at this little chart here, I'll show you an Azurite node. This one right here is the currency you use for upgrades. This is a really simple system. I'll explain in about 2 seconds. This is the currency you use for upgrades. I already have some since the whole thing is account shared now. Sulfite capacity, I recommend maxing first, so you can just power farm maps when you're throwing your fucking brain at a wall, and get as much sulfite as possible. You don't have to stop or waste anything. I recommend putting as much as you can into the capacity here. And it's basically what I'm going to do for the series character. I'm going to get like 50k sulfite, if not more, and then just fucking grind my way out with that character for as long as I can, and just have the best week of my life. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to make a character that's spectacular, hopefully. I'm hoping. It's my league starter, should be on the channel by this point. And just gonna power farm at endgame, just see how things go, and then yeah, get a bunch of sulfite, 50 to 70k, and then just have a week of delving. It'll be fucking grand. It'll be the best thing known to man, hopefully. Darkness res, essentially if you step outside of the light, you take a stacking debuff that stacks infinitely until you die. This makes it deal less damage. Obviously, you're still going to stack it until you die, until you go back into the light. When you go back into the light, the debuff removes itself. But this makes you take less damage from the debuff, so you can go out into the darkness, because out in darkness is good loot and crafting resources called fossils, which are over here. You can use these as like alchemy orbs to force something. So more lightning, no physical. More minion modifiers. You get the kind of basic gist of it. They all spawn in different areas. You can Google that sort of thing, where to farm. And one of them would be really good for this build, which would be Corroded, because it gives you a unique modifier to the fossil when you roll with it. That gives you 60% more bleed damage, or a chance to deal 60% more bleed damage with a hit. It's a bit weird, but it's really good for the build that we're playing. Light radius is radius of the flares, or radius of the minecart, sorry, thing you follow, and then you got flare stuff here, dynamite stuff here. So you would go in here and then do your first little bit, but I've already done that, so we can go to the subterranean chart, and I will show you just what this looks like, right? This is your infinite downwards, right? This is just satisfying, isn't it? You can path whatever way you want to. You can go across to the side at any point if you want. You can go up and back if you want to. The higher up you go, the easier it is. The farther down you go, the more difficult it is. So we're going to skip to pretty much like the bottom and see if I can actually do it on this character. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, who knows. But the thing about Delve is to go as deep as you can. Still fucking weird to say. And then once you hit the brick wall, start going to the side and just get as much currency as possible. Some of these nodes are better than others. The items one contains like div cards and sometimes fossils or essences, that sort of stuff. Jewelry is jewelry, weapons is weapons, armor is armor. Azurite is the currency to upgrade things. And then there's other ones like contain stuff from beyond. There's cities. Like this sort of thing that gives you a bunch of stuff. Sometimes they have maps, sometimes they have armor, sometimes they have weapons, that sort of stuff. It's a really simple system, but it's stupid fucking fun. That's probably one of the reasons, because it's just really simple. It's really simple and really easy to get into. So we're going to go down to depth 104. The other thing is there's no bosses on most of these runs. Sometimes there is at the end. At the end of the encounter there might be a boss, but it's a boss scaled to whatever difficulty you're at. And the other thing is, if you can't progress that way, say you can't kill that boss, you just go the other way and go down and around and take a different path instead. So you're never really at an end. You will eventually hit a point where you just like get flattened, right? But if you have an issue, you can just go a different way and try and go down that way. Someone reached Delve 10,000, I believe it was. It must be a grand old time for him to reach the fucking bottom when he's scrolling down. But he made a build that basically is unkillable. It's a CI character, so it's immune to chaos damage, and he's fully immune to physical damage, just entirely. Perma freezes everything. And yeah, if he gets touched once, he dies, but he just never gets hit and freezes the whole planet. What the fuck was I doing? If you press V, you can bring up your League Mechanic modifier or screen. And yeah, let's do some delves, shall we? So it costs sulfite to go from node to node, as I'm sure you saw, like 393 to go sideways on this, which is obviously going to burn us through like pretty quickly. But as I said, you get higher amounts, and you want to do optimally 216 with rarity, or 216 alked with high rarity with Nico mods to get as much sulfite as you can, and then you just power farm delve for a while. So this is monster level 77 at depth 104. So like I said, as I'm nearly about to fucking die because I missed the minecart, if you're out of the light, you're gonna have a real bad time. So do your best not to fall out of the light here. And it's also going to work really well for our bleed character because things are going to chase us. And we've already reached the end. Some of these are really quick. Depends if they're close encounters. Like you see how this one was like really close. So as a result, it's only going to be a fast little encounter. Now, if it's one of the longer ones, it might take a little bit. And if you die, you reset back to where the encounter started. So like, I would go back to, for example, like this tile if I died here, right? Which I might, who knows, we'll see. I might get one shot. It's fucking possible. It's Path of Exile. One shots are part of the damn game. And for some reason people still play hardcore. But still. I don't think this character is going to be really that great for farming super low. But I mean, don't get me wrong. We can clear 77 It's a higher level than me, even. And gear-wise, we're okay. We're not really the best thing on the planet. Build's also a bit of a meme, but works out pretty decently. So we're just gonna keep rolling down. I think this character would probably be a little better at about 70, 75, I think. But it actually works out pretty decently for us because of the way our build works. Remember how I was talking about how bleed works previously, right? I don't remember what episode it was in. But when you bleed an enemy, you want them to run after you, because that's where all the bleed damage comes from, is when they move. Now think about what we're doing, alright? Give it a second. Just let it sink in, right? We're constantly on the move, right? Because we're constantly following the minecart, going from point to point to point. Which means our current bleed character is always getting maximum bleed bonus. I'm just going to pick this shit up because it's fancy colors on my screen. Might as well. We're always getting the bleed bonus as we just kill things in general. Also, I think I over-leveled my cast one, which, yeah, I did. Fuck. Oh well. Level it up a couple more times. So my steel skin's a bit busted right now. I can solve that myself if I need to, but still. Losing defensive layers, just Wolfian things. This is where you really get to test your damage, your defensive capabilities, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, works out really well for bleed, since we have the modifiers from moving targets. Dynamite cache, that was not what I thought it was. So we can just dart over to stuff in the darkness, throw down a flare if you're gonna die to darkness damage. If not, maybe just run over, grab it, run back, reset the darkness debuff. I'm gonna fucking die because I took my hand off the keyboard for 2 seconds. Sounds about right. Run it back. Now if you die, you lose the sulfite you spent. Depends where you die in the run, because it consumes it as you go. It's not like you start it. You start immediately and all 700's gone. It like ticks through it as time goes on. Gotta reapply my 1 debuff. Ooh, scary. Or my 1 aura, sorry. But this is what ends up happening if you don't pay attention. You get fucking flattened. So I recommend actually paying attention to things. You can see why people play Tornado Shot though. Like you've seen what Tornado Shot does. And you see how many fucking enemies are here? Yeah. Probably work out pretty damn well here. Sadly, Delve does fall short to some of the classic Path of Exile problems of using left click to move and magically clicking on a barrel and all of a sudden you fall over because you've stood still. So, I mean, yeah. You do want to be kind of careful. Pace myself here. Obviously, as I said, it's a bit of a testing ground, so maybe you can't do the content, maybe you can. Might as well go in and find out, right? Holy fucking bears, Batman. Jeez, okay. Now we get the big boss, which keeps moving, so I can just kind of bleed it out. Stay at point blank, so I get the chin so. What? Thanks, Path of Exile. Yeah, I love to fucking see it. Just I see how it is. So let's go up a little bit and let's go sideways. 76. Let's go for 75. Do we have a 75 around here? There we go. Let's go path this way. Like I said, certain characters can only go to certain depths. If you build a character around like being as good as possible, maybe you can go farther. As I said, you build a speed farming character built around maps, you're probably not going to be able to push Delve. But you might be able to. And you can still probably have a good time with it, even if you can't go as deep as possible. Because now we've found what our limit is, so we go slightly up and go sideways instead. See how far sideways we can go and what kind of loot we can manage. And hopefully don't die in the process. It's obviously the biggest thing, because when you die in PoE, I don't think I actually cover this at any point in the series. When you die in PoE, you lose 15% of your XP bar. So don't do that. Especially if you're trying to go for like level 100 at any point. If you're ever thinking about doing that, you're going to want a character that never dies. Because you hit 99, you die, you lose 15% of your XP bar, and you subsequently tie a fucking noose in your room. and kick out the chair. Because that was at least 5+ hours of your life gone down the drain because you got spiked to dumb shit. Like you just saw 2 seconds ago. But, yeah. And, yeah, this is pretty much Delve. I mean, we've got an encounter here that lasts a decent amount of time. You gotta kill all the kind of stuff nearby. It'll explode. It drops Azurite. Drops a bunch of fancy loot. Also, you might think this is a lot of loot, but in reality, that's what it actually drops. Get a loot filter if you want to do Delve. Keep in mind, in the series that I'm talking about, like the roguelike series, I'm going to be picking through like most of this stuff, so to try and get crafting bases and all that sort of stuff. I'll make a loot filter specifically for this sort of thing, but still. But yeah, that's Delve. We'll do a couple more sideways, and I think we'll probably call her a day for this series, more than likely. All in all, I've had a pretty good time with it. It's been kind of ups and downs, I suppose. I don't know. It's been a little bit weird. But all in all, I'm glad that I have finally finished a survival guide series, you know. And don't get me wrong, next time I do this sort of thing, I'm going to probably pre-test the build and not go for like a one-off kind of shenanigansy build. Don't get me wrong, I still taught everything I wanted to teach. Like I taught speed and ranger and how to build a fast sort of character, a fast like speed farming style. I taught that whole scenario pretty well, in my opinion. Let me know if you think I fucking didn't, but still. For most comments, I think I did pretty okay. Do we have an enemy stuck somewhere? I do, don't I? Where? Yo, is my encounter bugged? Not cool. Really? Oh no, there it is. There we go. Corrupted, of course. Fucking figures. And we go down this way. But yeah, all in all, I think I did pretty okay. It's gonna be nice to have a series on the channel that says completed. Don't get me wrong, I was, and I mean, I guess am kind of on a time constraint, so I guess I could have really covered like fully everything, but I did that in the first series, which I'm sure most people watching this have already watched the first series, because, you know, that's where most of you fellas are from. So everyone knows how like percent life works and how skill gems work and all that sort of shit. I could have probably done like longer form stuff pretty much everywhere, I guess, if I wanted to. Going into the intricacies of skill gems and all that sort of shit, but you guys should know that by now. And I'm pretty sure I covered pretty much most of the stuff. All in all, what would I rate this series in terms of quality and information? I'd say around 7 to 8 personally. I don't know if I'm overinflating my ego there, but I think I really did teach pretty much everything. Don't get me wrong, I didn't make the best build on the fucking planet, but that's the other thing about PoE that I've been trying to teach people is you don't have to have a good time. If you want to play something a little bit off the wall, something a little bit meme, then the guy on Reddit tells you fuck off, play Tornado Shot, tell him to go suck a fat one. And that you're gonna play whatever you feel like playing. Because at the end of the day, Path of Exile is a single player action RPG. Yes, it has multiplayer, and yes, it's bad. Well, debatable. Path of Exile is bad in a group of 3+. If you play Path of Exile in a duo or a very coordinated trio, you can be okay. If you play PoE and anything beyond that, why the fuck is all I have to say. Unless you're doing soul fight rotations, because otherwise PoE turns into an absolute clown fiesta past 3 players. I'm talking 3 coordinated players. Even 2 players is pretty shitty sometimes. So what ends up happening is you have the new player who's with you, like your friend you're teaching, who's like, dude, how do skill gems work? And you have Jimmy, the fucking PoE streamer, going at Mach 5 with his Tornado Shot Ranger, who's already cleared tier 16 maps by the time Jimmy's made it to Act 3. And, or by the time your fucking new players made it to Act 3, right? So the styles don't really mesh unless you have 2 players who already know how to play PoE, kind of coordinating, both playing the same speed of builds. One going one way in maps, one going the other. Or one playing an Aura bot or something like that. Otherwise, you have the alpha Chad who's loaded into the map and already cleared it by the time your fucking game loads, and you're not really having the best time if you're the guy playing the meme build, right? So, Path of Exile is, at the end of the day, at its core, in my opinion, a single-player action RPG, and that's really, I think, the best way to go about playing it. Is my fucking steel skin no longer triggering? 55 and 54. Oh, that's a tilter. Yikes. But yeah, and because of that, don't let anyone tell you what the fuck to play. You want to play meme shit? You want to play something off the wall? Go for it. Because at the end of the day, we're here to have a good time, right? And PoE can provide, I think, many a good time, provided you don't go on Reddit, don't engage with the community, and don't go on the Steam forums, because the PoE community is iffy at best. I've met some really good people, but my god, have I met some fucking people, I'll tell you. Like, there's definitely diamonds in the rough, but there's a lot of rough to sift through. But if you play it single player, you look on Reddit for the memes, maybe take a league starter from someone on Reddit every now and then, I think you'll be pretty okay. Have a pretty decent time. That is Path of Exile Ultimate Survival Guide. I'm going to die to trash as I try to do a fancy little outro. It's very Path of Exile of me, but yeah. That is PoE Ultimate Survival Guide. Sorted, I do believe. That kind of feels weird. I'll be honest with you. It feels kind of like weird on the soul to say that that's pretty much the series done, and I'm going to, go about ending it off in a little bit here, probably about a couple minutes. It's an odd feeling to come to the end of something, I've started series, never really fucking finished them, but yeah, it's a weird feeling. I'm proud. I'm also kind of sad because obviously we're coming to the end of Survival Guide, but really, there's not much else I could do with the character. I could spend, another 5 episodes gearing the fucking thing and sorting out problems and doing all that sort of stuff, but that's for you guys to figure out. That's the fun of PoE, is sorting out how to get more damage out of your build and having fucking path of building on this monitor, path of building on this monitor, to figure out why there's 150k DPS disparity. To learn it was because your caustic arrow on this screen is 2 levels higher than your caustic arrow on this screen, and that's the only reason that happened to me, by the way. I was making my caustic arrow Deadeye, and I was playing it, and it was a fantastic fucking character, and it cleared godly fast. Back when Phase Run was actually good. But when I looked at the path of building, it said 150k more DPS than what my character had, and I was like, this shit don't add up. The fuck? So I pull my character in, I duplicate the fucking screen, I load up the actual the actual path of building, and I'm like, okay, what's the difference? Skill tree is the same, gear is the same, whole 9 is literally the same. The only thing that was different was the caustic arrow was 2 levels down on my character than it was on the path of building, and that was 150k DPS. So I must look like a giant fucking nerd to anyone who walked in and just saw 2 screens of numbers, but that's what PoE does to you, and that's one of the best parts, one of the fonder memories I have. PoE is basically infinite, unending chess / problem solving. It's kind of like Factorio in a way, where once you get addicted to it, it is kind of like crack. But does it destroy your life? Does Path of Exile destroy people's lives? I actually read a Reddit thread about a guy who did get his life destroyed by PoE because he just played PoE all day, every day. He dropped out of school, dropped out of fucking college, and just played PoE. His parents just let him because he was fucking 16 or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But I'm just fucking ranting at this point. I don't know. But from what I've seen when I stream anyways, the viewership always seems to go up when I just spend a half hour ranting about dumb shit, so who fucking knows? Maybe it's a nice way to end off. But yeah, it's gonna be weird to hit that stop recording button. It really will be. It's end of an era, it feels like. Because even though I didn't finish Survival Guide 1, it feels weird to say that there's an end of a Survival Guide series. It does feel like an end of an era, in a way, I suppose. But yeah, thank you guys very much for listening. And as always, take care. I shall see you in Season 3.